We're now about to go live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now live.
89.5 WSKB.
From the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Wow, it is Tuesday, and it is Mardi Gras Day. Yes, this is, oh God, would it be called Shrove Tuesday? I'm not exactly sure.
It would also be my dad's birthday, too.
Oh, is it? Oh, my God.
If he were still alive,
Wow.
he'd be, I don't know.
Wow. Look at that great face to my left as you look at the television set. It is Dr. Kevin Coughlin, who is busy at his studio. No, are you in your studio? Where
business?
Are you, Kevin?
I'm actually in my office.
Oh, you are in your office. And there's like
I'm in my office. I'm saving mouths, improving smiles, and making people comfortable today.
Well, on National Valentine's Week, you are our dental Valentine. Right.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yes.
Right back at you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, if you're looking at this beautiful non-snowy scene behind me, and you're watching on television.
Yeah, this is where the illusion breaks down.
This is total illusion because we are taping on Monday afternoon, and tomorrow, I don't know about you. What are you doing when you hear a snow forecast like this, Kevin? And you, Dr. Kevin Coughlin, everyone from Ascent Dental, ASCENTDENTAL, Ascent, as in rise. Okay, rise up. Dr. Kevin, when you see a weather forecast about snow and et cetera, what do you do as a business, and how do you deal with it with clients, et cetera?
It's difficult. I think all small businesses and large businesses have these problems. In healthcare, typically what happens if Mr. and Mrs. Smith aren't in pain, they're not uncomfortable, they'll typically cancel their appointment when they hear it's going to be a northeastern 6 to 8 inches to 10 inches of snow.
Right.
They're not going to take that chance of coming out.
Right.
But if you go home or close your facility down, which many facilities have to, then that person who's in pain or was scheduled for surgical procedures and have taken time off from work, they don't want to cancel. They want to show up.
Right.
So advantages of having a larger organization like Ascent Dental is we may close down some of our locations, but keep others open and consolidate the appointments because we have facilities and a larger group or a larger team. We have that flexibility. When I was just a sole practitioner with one office decades and decades ago, it created a problem. I can recall staying all day and one patient would show up because that patient had made, commitments, taking time off from work, et cetera, et cetera. So to answer your question, it's tough on everyone, but you do the best you can.
Right. And when you're a dental patient and it is a snow day, what do you do? What do you recommend, like folks today? It's early in the morning on Tuesday for folks, or if you're listening on the internet, I don't know where maybe you're getting weather, when maybe you don't have any weather or whatever. But at any rate, do you call and say, look, would you prefer? How do you do it? Is it the day before, the day of? When it's hard.
At Ascent Dental, Bob, we have the luxury where we can send out a text message, an email, or a voicemail.
Right.
If patients or clients have allowed us to communicate with them through one of those three or all those three.
Right.
But you also have a group of patients who don't want you to contact them through email. They don't want to be contacted through a text message or a voicemail. Those are individuals that you just have to call and simply say, listen, we're going to be here. Are you planning to show up? We've talked over the years, the single biggest expense, in my opinion, for healthcare are broken appointments.
Oh.
People not showing up. I know that from the standpoint of a patient, they probably don't think of that very much. But imagine you're doing a radio show and you have a guest, and that guest doesn't show up.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And the same thing in a private office. You're expecting these people to come in, you've scheduled time for those individuals, and they don't show. Whether it's the dog got sick, the cat got sick, they got a sniffle, a cold. There's 1,000 excuses I've heard over the last 41 years of this profession. But at the end of the day, you have people trying to get an appointment that complain they can't get in.
Right.
And you have people that have taken up appointment time and don't show up. So from a business standpoint, we categorize the patients as last minute cancellations. Those are the individuals who have at least had the courtesy to call and inform you that something's come up, and at least you have a chance to schedule. And you have those people who don't bother calling, they just don't show.
You're
for
kidding
a variety of reasons.
Really?
And it's low on their priority. They're not in pain. They're coming in for what I would consider routine care. And those are the ones most likely to not show up.
Right. It's amazing to me,
From a
especially,
business
yeah.
standpoint, all of our listeners, I'm sure, have sat in a doctor's office and they wait. And the reason they're waiting is that office is overscheduled. They've overscheduled because they realize that if they book one patient an hour and that patient doesn't show up,
Right.
they're going to be closing your doors because they can't pay the bills.
Sure.
And if you book 5 or 10 people per hour, the quote customer or patient ends up waiting, and that makes them dissatisfied with the service.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act. I think, in the end, I've always said that it's about 5% of the clientele that cause 99% of all problems.
Yeah,
And I think that's true in life.
Oh, in
around
life as well. I'm always amazed that with my dental office, Montgomery Dental, and just for transparency, this doctor to my left is a absolutely wonderful doctor, but he also recognizes the idea that there are some folks that have had relationships with medical care for years and years. So just because Kevin and I are the best, where are you? No, I never know how to do this. Over here. There we go.
I'm over there.
There,
Yes.
there you are. Okay. I always point the wrong way. All right. Yeah.
Well, you have it this time.
Yeah.
I'm to your right.
There you are. All right. Oh, no, I'm down here now?
No, I'm pointing down to you guys.
Oh, all right. We look this way. Yeah.
See,
All right.
Kevin's seeing it completely different because he's seeing the Zoom screen, but then he's seeing our little program screen.
I got it. So it's all messed up.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin on the screen, wherever he is, this is one of a person I love and cherish, and I would go to him if I were if I didn't have a relationship with another provider, and
Excuses.
Oh yeah, but at any rate, Montgomery Dental, my dental dentist has this thing that they call me ahead, they text me. They get a text and they say, do you want this text to continue? Stop yes or no. And they text and let me know ahead. Recently, when I had a procedure in Boston, my God, they seemed to be contacting me every other day. It was just like, well, do you want to sign in ahead or whatever? And I'm just amazed at how the medical profession is using the cell phone to facilitate as best they can, but I guess it doesn't always work, right?
No, it's proving the point that through my consulting business and through my other businesses, the message is getting across of how expensive it is when people don't show up.
Yeah.
And what makes it more difficult in this particular time and place is that most physician and dental offices have no control of their fees. So if I lost $100 yesterday, I could increase my fees to cover those losses.
Sure.
But since 99% of the insurance plans dictate the fees that you choose, you become more time management sensitive.
Sure.
In other words, if I have to bill out $100 per hour and Mrs. Smith and Mr. Smith don't show up, you just lost $200.
Sure.
You can't make those dollars up because the next person coming in, the insurance company may only be paying you $35 for a procedure.
Yeah.
And what's happening, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion,
Sure.
is it's a tremendous strain on the care and service that individuals are receiving in this country. And that's because what people mostly want, in my opinion, is they want better care, better service, and better results.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, they don't care whether their dentist or their physician is making a good living or not. But the trickle down effect is if your employees can't be compensated fairly, then ultimately that hurts service and care. Because who wants to join an organization where you can't give raises because the fee schedule hasn't increased in the last 9 years?
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a
like you're charging the same advertising rates in 2024 that you were charging in 2020.
right.
And you'd be saying that can't be. It's more expensive to do business.
Sure. Sure.
But
It's
the insurance companies are not increasing those fees, and the trickle down effect, I think, is affecting the entire medical, dental facilities.
right.
Through
So here's my pledge or my plea to everyone out there. Please call your physician if you are not making your appointment, and please call them ahead so that they may fill the spot. And don't wait till the last minute in order to do this. If you have any fear that you're not going to be there, call. Maybe there ought to be some kind of PS. What do you call those things? Public service PSAs about
public
this.
service announcements.
Does
PSA.
anybody ever do those? Be kind to your physician and your provider, whoever it is. I think
Bob,
that
if people weren't so self-centered nowadays,
yeah.
they probably would. And I used to, I still do if I can't make it.
Oh yeah.
I actually called my physician because I ended up going to the emergency room.
No.
And I still got a nasty gram from them saying, you didn't show up for your appointment. I'm like, I called you and told you.
Oh my gosh.
I went to the emergency room.
Yeah. Well, sometimes sometimes it's a flub up on their sides or whatever. But
Yeah.
I had an experience. I went today earlier before the taping. I went to visit a friend in the hospital, and so I was down in the Bay State parking lot, Bay State Hospital parking lot, and I had this thing that said you scan this as you go out. Your car goes out so that the thing goes up so the car can go. What do you call that thing that goes back and forth there at the thing?
Gate?
The gate goes up. The gate goes up. Okay, so I get to the gate. There's nobody there, and it says scan your thing. So I'm looking for it. I find it. And I'm looking all over where to scan, and I'm looking over to the left, and there's a woman behind me, and she beep, and then I'm still trying to scan. I'm going, oh God, and then what had happened was that the gate went up when I was looking to my left, so she's beeping again, and she's back there like, what is this? Stupid. So. I was so annoyed. I drove out of the gate, and I stopped the car, and I got out of the car. Now this is so, and I went, can't
security on.
Would you be kind? Could you be kind? And the woman go, and then I'm going, kind. And then I got back in my car. And I thought to myself,
Bob, you're lucky she didn't take a pipe to you.
was that, yeah, but was that kind of me to do? When the woman called me stupid and beat the horn, and all I wanted to do was to say to her, "Can't you be kind to me? Can't you be kind?"
Got to be careful today. As Pete said, you just never know who you're dealing with.
Well, I
And
looked at the woman. She didn't look like she had a gun in her handbag. But then again, what would you have done? Would you have just gone off and or given the finger as you went?
No, I would have waved and smiled, and then I never got out of my car. I would have waved and smiled and said, "Have a nice day."
I wanted to just get the message across, and then I was thinking maybe I ought to have a sign to have in my car to hold up and hold it behind me so.
Oh, Bob,
that
I
they
got
can
something
see,
for you.
Be kind.
There's a company I saw. I don't know if this is on Amazon or not, but it's an app operated LED sign that you can put messages in. Like you can attach it to your back window.
Really?
And you can put messages up. So Bob, you could be putting messages up all the time.
What do you think?
It's
Or
not that.
another message is, I'm sorry. I have found over my years of dealing with the public, rather than the universal language, rather than taking a chance with getting out of the car and making a potentially
scene.
bigger problem, just, I'm sorry. That's it. Even though you're not at fault, I find that it diffuses. When Mr. and Mrs. Smith come in, they're obviously irritated. They're upset at something. Generally, I just start off by saying, I'm sorry.
This is a good idea. Yeah. So when I get out of the car the next time, I'm going to walk to the window. I'm going to have that. And the only thing out of my mouth, I am so sorry, my friend. I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. Will you please accept my apology? And then I'm going to walk away. What do you think?
I believe it was Florida this weekend that it was a female who drew the rifle or pistol from the Christian church and I
yes,
believe killed
Joel
a
Osteen's church. Yeah.
Again, you just don't know today, and it just seems.
Yeah.
We're all roughly the same age, but the bottom line is it seems people have a much shorter fuse today than I've ever noticed.
Yeah.
I don't know what that reason is. Maybe Pete said that we're so self-centered that people don't have time for compassion. They're too busy. They're too rushed, and they're just they're at their wits' end. Whatever the reason is.
Here it is, Valentine's week. We all ought to take and make it our intention to be filled with heartfelt appreciation and love of our fellow man this week. And
should be every day.
It should be every day. But specifically, let's start with this week, everyone. So everywhere you go this week, have a little heart. Oh, you can't see. Look, wait a minute. Where is it? There. I have my heart tattoos this week. It's there. Yeah. Right there. Right there. I take them. I'm going to take them off after the week, but there they are. My heart tattoos. Boy. I know. Hey, everyone. Let's. Kevin, can you stick around? I want to talk to you about heart health and dentistry, if possible. Is it possible for a few minutes?
I'd love to stick around.
All right. So, hey, our first. I'm going to play all kinds of heart songs.
Oh boy.
This week. So
we're into Sappy Bob.
Yeah. No, I got some great ones actually, but this is the sappiest because I love this theme. Jack Jones singing "The Love Boat." Oh my God, I just love this. Is that one of your favorite all-time shows or themes, Doc? No.
For sitcoms, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Everybody and their brother was on there, from Andy Warhol to oh my God, everyone was on there. And if you were if you were on the B list of actors, you were definitely on. But even some really famous people who had no business being on a sitcom, like Andy Warhol, were on the Love Boat. Okay, Jack Jones, The Love Boat. Here we go.
exciting and new. Come aboard, we're expecting you. And love, life's sweetest reward. Let it flow, it floats back to you. The love boat, soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. It's love. It's love. Yeah, the love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. It's love. It's love. It's love. It's the love boat. It's the love boat. It's the love boat. It's the love boat. It's
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Wow, it is Valentine's week. It's Mardi Gras week. Last night was 2 nights ago for you guys, it was the Super Bowl. Did you guys get to watch the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah. How about you, Doc?
I fell asleep in the second half. I just was tired. That's all I could tell you. I wanted to watch it. I just couldn't.
You were like the Chiefs at the end of the game when they had to go into overtime, right?
Yeah.
But you would have rallied. Did you rally soon after it, or were you watching in bed so you were totally
I
out?
was watching in bed, and I was unconscious. I actually was. I spent the week in Florida visiting my brother, and I got in late, and it was just. I think I was tired from the travel.
Yes.
And I knew I had a busy day today coming back to the office.
Yeah.
So long and short of it is, I probably missed the best part of the game.
Oh, yeah, it was. What did you think, Peter? Did you think the game was exciting?
I thought it was exciting.
You know, there were moments, there was time during the game, Doc, that I found that I was drawn away from the television. I mean, I could look away. It was sort of like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
or whatever. And then there were these moments that were really exciting, and especially that final overtime. That I'm so non-athletic. I'm such a, what's the opposite of a jock? I don't. I'm not exactly sure. An unjock and not. What is that? A ninjock?
Intellect. Yes.
Oh, an intellect? Did you?
An intellect.
Well,
Yes.
I don't know. There are people who are intellectual that love sports. So I don't know. How about there must be a word. There's got to be a word that somebody is non-athletic. Wouldn't be a nerd. Somebody just.
Well, if you look at Revenge of the Nerds, there was the jocks and the nerds. So.
The jocks and the nerds. So I guess it is the nerd doc. Well, all right. So I'm a nerd.
There's two things.
Yeah.
To me, when someone says they're a jock, that means they participate. They're involved in the athletics, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between someone who's enthusiastic about sports, they love to watch sports,
Right.
but they may not be very coordinated or very good at sports. So I wouldn't call those people who are non-participants jocks. To me, a jock is someone who's in there participating in whatever that endeavor or sports is.
Yeah.
And, in my opinion, I think everyone could be a jock if they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And most people who aren't, they just simply don't enjoy it. It's just not their cup of tea.
Well, I tell you, once a year I get excited. I mean, I always seem to rally for that last game or two to watch, and really, I understand it better than I did when I would go to these Super Bowl parties and people were cheering, and I would always cheer at the wrong spot or whatever. But I won money even, because there was no real, there was betting, but there was, do you know what I'm saying? I would get, so here, I'll put my number down in this. I don't know what the hell it means. Give me the money. But I cheer, I yell, I whoop it up. I rooted last night for, who do you think I rooted for? Which team?
I would have said San Francisco.
Yeah, I rooted for San Francisco because they were the underdogs, weren't they, last night, in a sense? Because, yeah.
I think they were ultimately favored by 1 or 2 points, but I just figured Patrick Mahomes has had the glory and the accolades along with the team. And I thought it might be nice San Francisco could enjoy that.
Oh yeah, But when you saw his is it the quarterback? This guy that was so relaxed. What's his name? Dunphy? Purdy. Oh my God, what a star that guy is! The idea that he could be going through all these stressful experiences and yet looked like, well, okay, I'm doing my job. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do it as well, but I'm not going to get rattled. He never seemed to get rattled.
And he's only been in a couple of years, so it shows a maturity. And I think if I saw the replays this morning, he actually took responsibility. He said, I hope I can do better for my team in the years to come up. He took the responsibility and the loss and put it on his shoulders. Which
Good. A lot of grace.
Too.
Yeah. Well, also, just as somebody who does many commercials, am I right, Doc? You've been the star of many commercials, right?
Let's just say I've done many commercials. I don't know if we could call me a star, but the point is how do you get the message out?
Yeah. Have you ever used a famous person in your in your commercial at all? In your commercials, the variety that you.
I would say probably the most famous was Rebecca Lobo from Southwick.
I remember that.
She won the gold medal for the women in the Olympics.
Yes.
And is a local girl from Southwick. And I happen to have the privilege to take care of her family, her brothers, sister-in-laws, her sister, her mom, and her dad. But sometimes I just don't want to impose. I know they have a lot of people pulling at them, and sometimes I feel a little embarrassed.
Especially the dentist pulling.
The point is, I was doing it more for a donation than to promote my business.
Got it.
And as the entire family has always been gracious, in my opinion, to the community,
Yeah.
and continues to be.
I
But how
gotcha.
do you get across? I don't know if you heard this week. Uh, I think it was the New England Journal of Medicine about the different types of inflammation and the effects on cognitive reasoning, meaning dementia,
Yeah.
different types of dementia, and the turning on of specific cancers. And it was pretty interesting from the dental standpoint that when your gums bleed, when you brush your teeth and you see bleeding when you rinse your mouth out,
Right.
these are signs of chronic inflammation caused by bacteria that's not being removed by dental floss or a toothbrush. And the significance from a medical standpoint are pretty severe. And again, another study stating how important it is if your mouth isn't healthy, then in many cases your body is suffering from this chronic inflammation. It's constantly trying to fight and heal and clean up the systems. And unfortunately, the inability to do it effectively can be leading to some significantly more severe problems. So most people don't think of dental disease as being life-threatening. And I can recall in the early 80s sponsoring a bill with Senator Napick about instituting mouth guards to protect young people playing sports to reduce concussions. And now, 35 years later, they realize that these concussions are cumulative. These concussions that you're getting when you're young and as you grow older have caused irreparable damage to the brain. And now it seems like it's obvious and clear to the medical and dental public. But back 30 years ago, I can remember getting letters and notes saying all you're trying to do is make more money. They're a waste of time. There's
my
no
gosh.
expense. And today, excuse me, I think the literature is quite clear that once you have a concussion, and I believe for the professional athletes, Pete, am I right? 3 concussions and you're no longer allowed to play?
For some sports, yes.
Wow.
For some sports, yes. I think auto racing, it's been like that for quite some, since Dale Earnhardt passed away.
Wow.
They got really serious about it really fast because his wreck didn't look all that bad, but his head got bounced around so badly that he died in the car.
Yeah.
Never made it out.
Specifically, Doc, around concussions, how is the concussion related to do you get a concussive
when
mouth
someone
or
receives
teeth?
a blow, when someone receives a blow to the head or neck,
Right.
or perhaps any part of the body, generally the lower jaw hits against the upper jaw. And as those teeth make contact with enough force,
Right.
that rattles the brain, the gray matter and the white matter in the brain to hit against the skull. All a concussion is that brain matter hitting against the skull, and that force damages the tissues, and that damage at this point we don't know how to correct. It's irreparable,
Right.
and it's cumulative. So you're talking young men and young women starting sports now at age 5 and 6,
Yeah.
whether it be soccer, football, hockey, and that constant bombardment is having long-term effects. And the key is putting something between the top and bottom jaw, typically called an athletic mouth guard. It reduces that trauma. It reduces the impact of that brain matter forced against the skull because the athletic mouth guard
Right.
absorbs that shock rather than letting it transfer to the brain.
I'm picturing ahead, and so some folks, I wonder, some parents think, well, a concussion just happens when the head hits something, but what happens is there's this
Sudden stop.
compression, right? Because you've got this jaw, and that moves up in the head. So you really are going like this, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
both your jaw and the top of your head could be that you're compressing the bones or something.
The top and bottom jaw is going to absorb that energy, that force, and decrease the amount of damage that's going to occur to the brain. And I mean, a perfect example is Patrick Mahomes. If you see him,
Right.
his athletic mouth guard is out of his mouth 99%
Oh
of
my
the
God!
time.
Yeah, I think he uses it as a pathetic. He uses it as an anxiety thing. It seems like he's chewing it or something.
And if you looked at it and you were a trained dentist in sports athletics, you'd notice that it's not the right thickness, it's not the right material.
No,
And
yes.
I understand why he wants to be able to speak. Generally, your younger and younger athletes are more accustomed to wearing them because they're mandatory in most of your high school sports.
Yeah.
Your athletic director will not allow you to participate. The problem is most athletes are not using the proper athletic mouth guard.
Oh.
And depending on the sport, each sport has a specific type of mouth guard. And to make it simple for the listeners, it has to be a specific material and a specific thickness, and it has to be made a specific way.
Yeah.
And most dental offices don't have the commercial type equipment to make a true athletic sports guard.
So
And
what? So
the
you have.
offices
So what? I'm a parent, and I'm going to my dentist. I have a child who is participating, let's say, in football, or some sport that requires a concussive. There's a threat of concussion.
Yeah, it's
So what do you
skiing,
do? Do you say to your dentist, "I need this," or what's the
Well,
procedure?
actually, I would hope that the dentist would educate the parents that no parent would put their kid on a motorcycle without a helmet.
Right.
Most parents would not allow their kids to snowboard or ski without a helmet.
Yeah.
Most parents wouldn't let them play hockey without a helmet.
Yeah.
It's a part of standard equipment.
Right.
And the mouth guard, in my opinion, should be considered standard equipment. They're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on orthodontics, and then they're putting their son or daughter out there without the proper protection. The analogy I use, the seatbelt's no good if it's not worn correctly.
Yeah.
It's giving you a false sense of security.
Yeah.
In fairness to the parents, and I have 3 adults, but they were young kids at one time and participated in all kinds of sports, their teeth are changing.
Yeah.
They're losing baby teeth and they're getting permanent teeth. So sometimes that piece of equipment needs to be changed multiple times because their teeth have changed. They've lost baby teeth and they've developed permanent teeth.
Right.
The other thing is that these commercially made professional mouth guards can be quite expensive.
Right.
They can be up to a couple of $100.
Right.
And most parents look at it and go, God, how many more expenses do I need to have my son or daughter participate? But if you fully understood what's happening with concussions, and there's been movies on it, I think it's considered basically standard of care.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing in every football game, they go to the concussion tent. They have to be tested.
Oh.
And if they test positive for a concussion, they're not allowed out in the field.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Is that blue tent that I saw somebody? They were a blue tent went around one of the players.
That's standard procedure now.
I had no idea.
If they're going to check them out anywhere on the field and do any type of
medical
triage type stuff, they
Right.
put the tent over them. Partly so the people, if there's something like bad, they got a broken leg or something like that, they won't see anything nasty.
Oh.
And partly for the privacy of the patient.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wasn't the NFL weren't they sued because they found the direct evidence in autopsies that there was true brain damage from a series of concussions that were related to football?
They've been finding that.
Did I-
Yeah, they've been finding that over the years. But there was also a case of the Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa got hit several times in one game, and the team doctor said he was fine, and he literally was staggering around after one play, and they never took him out.
Yeah.
And so there was outcry about that. So now the doctor is independent of the team. I think he's hired by the league, and we'll do. And it's one for both sides. I think it's somebody independent of the team, so they can't just keep sending him back out there.
Oh, interesting. What about sports like baseball or golf? That sounds really funny. That so to say.
Belaboring the point too much, there are basically two types of athletic mouth guards. One is called a power mouth guard, and it's based on kinesiology. And the key is if your teeth don't come together properly,
right,
you're not as strong, you're not as coordinated, and you're not as proficient in your athletic endeavor. An example would be is if you put a pencil between your two front teeth,
right,
and bit down on them so that your teeth didn't come together properly, and you tried doing a pull-up or a push-up, you'd find out how much weaker you are compared to when the teeth come together properly. So some of your power lifters and some of your high performance athletes are looking for a specific type of power mouth guard that allows their teeth to be more balanced. And from a physiological standpoint, they perform at a higher level.
Right.
And then the athletic mouth guards that are really there primarily to reduce the chances of concussion and to protect the teeth and the soft tissue.
Right.
And in some commercial facilities, they can combine the power and the protection of the athletic in one device.
Got it. What if your kid has braces?
And how knowledgeable your patient base is, and how much time and energy you want to devote to that particular segment of dental health care.
Got it. Kevin, what about if your kid wears braces?
You need to make another mouth guard, and it's the same mouth guard. It's just done a little differently because if there's not a space between the braces and the mouth guard, when the young man or young woman pull the mouth guard out, they'll knock their braces off.
Oh my
gosh. So we call it a blocking technique. And again, dentists who are part of the Sports Academy of Dentistry, have taken an interest in this particular area. Almost all of these professional teams will have a dentist on staff.
Oh, interesting. Wow. I've never seen a tooth come out in a football game. Does that happen where somebody gets
back in the old days? Yes,
but not so much now.
But remember, there's a little bit of buffer.
Oh, there's that thing there in front of the mouth. Yeah.
Yes, we call them lips.
Hey, Doc, can you stick around for another segment? You able to?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
All right. Today is Mardi Gras in New Orleans. You ever been to Mardi Gras, Doc?
I have never.
No.
But it's something I would like to do. I just haven't had the opportunity.
Wow. You really want to be in all those crowds jumping around and
try it once, sure.
Oh, all right. This is good. How about you, Peter? Never? New Orleans?
No, I've never been, no.
No, I've never been in New Orleans. My spouse loves New Orleans. How about you, Doc? You've been to New Orleans for a conference or two, I bet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, fun? Good? Wonderful? Yeah.
I have to admit, there's very few places I've been that I didn't enjoy. I take it for what it's worth. It's a new experience, and in most cases, I walk back and I say, I'm glad I did it. Yeah. Would I rush back? The answer would be no. For me personally, no, but I'm glad I did it.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm going to play a combination of Valentine's Day and New Orleans Mardi Gras because this is Zydeco, and Zydeco music is New Orleans. So this is Zydeco Love Story by, let me get the name of Chris Ardian and New Step Zydeco. Actually, this is a really great song. Listen to this.
This is a Zydeco love story. Please open your books to the introduction. This is a story about a young couple that met at the Zydeco and fell in mad country love. Zydeco love story is to be continued. Chapter 1 coming soon.
Support for community radio on WSKB provided by Westfield Electroplating. Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Wow, it is Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Mardi Gras. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Ash Wednesday tomorrow. There'll be a lot of folks. Well, I wonder if they'll have that. Well, Peter, this is a good question for you because folks on this snow day will want to know.
It is officially a snow day, by the way. The Westfield schools have canceled for today.
Okay. And has there, where do you find cancellations and everything? Is there something that the city provides?
For Westfield schools, you can sign up to get a text alert We try to put it out on channel 15, so there's a crawl running as soon as we get notified that there's a cancellation.
Oh, really?
I just usually check the local TV stations. They usually have a section for all the cancellations where you can look at it on a web page.
Yeah. Does that happen to you? Are you able to do that, Doc? Do you say, Ascent Dental office is closed in such and call into the TVs and stuff?
Yes, we do that. It's been rare in my 41 years that I've had to do that, but there were a couple of storms that clearly, I've had up to 230 employees.
Oh my gosh.
So not only are you looking at your patients, you're looking at your employees. You don't want them trudging out there taking a chance of getting hurt,
right,
or hurting someone else. So it's internally we have a crawl similar to what Peter said to inform everyone that we're not coming in. But I believe in my entire 41 years, I only recall doing that twice, where we closed everything down, and quite honestly, I still showed up.
Yeah.
Okay, and I showed up just to make sure there were no.
What kind of car were you driving? What did you? How do you get there?
I had a Ford Expedition at the time because we had 3 young kids, and that's what we needed to get them and their equipment.
Sure.
They were all skiing, they were all snowboarding, and to long and short, you needed a car like that. I'm trying to remember. It was called the Storm of the Century. Do you remember that, you guys?
Storm? What year?
There was one that was 97. 1997.
Lost power for 3 days in Long Meadow.
Oh, that was 2011. I think that was the ice storm. We had the ice storm. But then,
there was the Halloween storm. There was one.
Before that was 97, where we had like 21 inches.
Oh my God, I remember.
And it was the April Fool's. That was the April Fool's storm, and I was working for the Weather Channel. We had 20-something inches of snow, and it was all gone by the end of the week.
It was on April 1st.
It was April Fool's Day. I know. God. I was out there freezing.
How do you like
freezing
that?
my butt off
in a
storm with one of the meteorologists from the Weather Channel.
Holy mother of God!
I heard you correctly. They've already canceled school in Westfield. Is that correct?
That is correct. Springfield canceled really early. As a matter of fact, Mayor Sarno closed all city offices tomorrow because his people were telling him, with the way the timing of the storm was going to work out, it's better to close the city offices.
Wow. Well, we managed to get here today, didn't we? That's big.
Yes, we did. We look like heroes.
Yes, we're heroes because we're taping this on Monday, everyone. Yes.
I've done storm coverage before. It's not big.
Of course. You're an old hand at this, Peter. Hey, Doc, I wanted to, since it's Valentine's week, I wanted to say, is there something that people need to know if they have a heart condition with their dentist? I mean, does their dentist office need to know that they have something wrong with their hearts? Whether it's, this is a rhetorical question, but answer you if you could.
What happens is when your heart's beating, there are 2 major valves that allow blood to flow through your atriums and ventricles. Those are the chambers that fill with blood and pump the blood throughout your body. Those valves are very predisposed to having bacteria accumulate on them, and it's called endocarditis, inflammation of the heart. So for decades, since I started dentistry in the early 80s, patients who had heart murmurs, patients who had artificial valves were required to take 2,000 milligrams of a penicillin product 1 hour before their dental appointment and 6 hours after their appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, over the last 40 years, those procedures have been modified. Today, there's only some specific heart valve problems that your cardiologist would recommend that you take an antibiotic before a dental procedure. And the idea behind it is the oral cavity, the mouth,
Right.
is one of the only areas of the human body that you can't sterilize. It's constantly bombarded with bacteria. And because of that, when a dentist pulls out a tooth, puts in a dental implant, cleans your teeth, that bacteria gets inserted into your bloodstream. And as that bacteria travels through your bloodstream, there's a higher incidence that it will vegetate or accumulate on these valves that I talked about in your heart,
Right.
creating a life-threatening problem. So to answer your question, yes, you should be telling your dentist if you have had a heart valve replacement, if you've had a history of endocarditis, if you've had something like a scarlet fever that may have scarred or damaged the valves. They still work, but they're more prone. What I like to say is it's uh, it's like the bottom of a boat. These accumulations of barnacles on the bottom of a boat after the end of the season,
Right.
they have to be moved and cleaned, or that boat doesn't operate well in the water. And your heart valves, along with your arteries and veins, are prone to collect these vegetative plaques. And to prevent or reduce these traumatic events, we put you on an antibiotic. Typically, if there's no allergies to penicillin, it's 2,000 milligrams of amoxicillin 1 hour before your dental appointment, and they've done away with the post-op antibiotics.
Yeah, I remember this. Doc, if you have, if you take Eliquis or something, like I have AFib as well. I was diagnosed with a heart murmur early on in my life, and I have chronic AFib. I wondered, is that you said something around there are reasons whether you take it or not.
For reasons you wouldn't need the antibiotic because you have AFib, but because you're on a blood thinner like Eliquis,
right,
that's important for your dentist to know, because it's a judgment. Do we stop that medication if we're doing a surgical procedure? So most dentists, a surgical procedure would be the most common: the removal of a tooth, gum surgery, periodontal surgery, or dental implant surgery. Those are the most common dental surgeries. And when you're on a blood thinner, the problem is are we going to be able to stop that bleeding to allow us to do the procedure? Or when we've completed the procedure, is that patient going to continue to bleed? So as a general rule, in many cases, your physician assistant or physician will probably consult with your dentist, and depending on the procedure, may recommend that you get off that blood thinning medication anywhere from 1 to 2 days, all the way up to 7 days.
Oh my gosh, really?
You might find that funny, but it's aspirin that tends to last the longest. So generally, the aspirin prevents the platelets from sticking and clotting, and the aspirins can last as long as 7 days. So your physician assistant or physician sometimes will request that you stop taking that baby aspirin for 7 days prior to doing a dental procedure. And again, it depends. If we're removing impacted wisdom teeth, where there's going to be a significant amount of surgery involved, as compared to removing a baby tooth, which may create almost no bleeding at all, will depend on whether the risk of taking you off these thinners warrants that treatment. For me personally, doing dental surgery for now 4 decades, if it's 1 or 2 teeth, this is me personally,
right,
not everyone would agree with it, I think there's a higher risk of taking you off the blood thinners than me being unable to control the bleeding after the procedure's done.
Right.
You
You
know,
could do
yeah,
a little sewing thing there, right?
yes, we have all kinds of sutures. We have all kinds of coagulating agents. And sometimes taking a patient off these thinners, in my eyes, could be a higher risk than me having a problem controlling the bleeding from the removal of one or two teeth that are fairly straightforward, not expected.
But what if you're a senior who takes a daily aspirin? I don't know if that, I mean, I don't do that. I'm on Eliquis, so I don't do that. But what if you're a senior who just for health reasons takes a daily aspirin? Does your doctor need to know that?
Yes. And the reason for that is, let's just say your dental hygiene is not as good as we would like it.
Right.
When a hygienist or a dentist are cleaning your teeth, it's happened to, I think, almost all dentists, but the patient calls up and goes, my gums are still bleeding. My gums are still bleeding. I just simply had my teeth cleaned. How is this? What's going on?
Right.
And when you ask about their medical history, most people don't think taking a baby aspirin is important for their dentist or dental hygienist to know about, but it actually is very important.
Gotcha. There, you got that, everyone? That's my PSA. Yeah. Tell your dentist. Yeah. And your dentist should probably be asking any changes in your health every time you go.
And the medical history should be updated. The problem is when you just ask a generic question, is there any changes?
Yeah.
The patient basically says, well, I've been taking this baby aspirin for 30 years. There's been no change. But we didn't know you were taking the baby aspirin to begin with.
Yes.
So typically we'll say, are you on any blood thinners at all?
Yeah.
Are you on any medications, over the counter or prescriptions? And in some cases, you even go to are you taking a baby aspirin? And usually you'll find out that that's why we update the medical histories on every appointment.
Yeah.
And the other reason is when you have patients that are on a baby aspirin or other blood thinners, you're prone to bruise.
Oh.
So let's just say the dentist is pushing on your cheeks, on your lips, in your face area. It's not uncommon to see them bruise. They call it ecchymosis, and the little blood vessels in the tissues break and bleed, and it looks like you got punched in the nose.
Yeah.
It looks like you took a little bit of a beating, and the patient is going like, how did this happen? And as soon as I look, I immediately know they're on a blood thinner.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah.
Pushing on the cheeks, on the lips, and in the head and neck area will cause bruising.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, you know, it's really timely that you're telling me because a week from today, I lost a tooth over here. Which side? Oh, over here on this side. Okay. Oh, a little while back, and half of it fell off. Okay. And so the doctor and I decided that rather than spend the money to put in an implant, because at my advanced age, it really would take a long while. I mean, like, we just decided not to do this to save me some dough. Okay. Old skinflint Bob. Okay. So, but he said, I really need to take that tooth out because it needs to be out, you know. And so next week, a week from today, I'm having an extraction, Doc.
You're still on the Eliquis, right?
I'm still on the Eliquis, yeah.
So I'm assuming they discussed the pros and cons of stopping it and going on it, or that may have just been omitted because the medical history wasn't updated. I just don't know.
Good question. Yeah, you reminded me, we talked about my having to take the amoxicillin before it. However, I did not discuss the Eliquis, and I really ought to. And my cardiologist would be the one to make that decision, right?
And basically, depending on how much surgery this tooth, even though it may be one tooth, if it's broken, that dentist doesn't have the ability to grab onto anything. So even though it's one tooth, we lay a flap. We have to cut the tissue, cut the bone, because there's nothing to grab because the tooth is broken at the gum line.
Right.
So from a layman's person's standpoint, oh, it's just one tooth. But sometimes that one tooth can be more problematic than removing 10 or 12 teeth that you have access to. So I would just check. You've got a good organization there, and just a phone call and say, look, I'm on the Eliquis. Do you want me to stop it, or would you like me to continue on it? They'll probably say, do you know your bleeding time? You're going to say, no, I don't. and well, might you pick your cardiologist? You try getting through to your cardiologist. You probably won't be able to get through.
Oh yeah, of course I won't. Of course I won't. Yeah. It is funny. I somehow or other have just such dread fear that I said to the doctor, you got to do something. I got to have something. So I'm going to have some medication the night before and the morning of, so that I can, what's the word? Chill out during this.
Yeah.
I got to do that, or just knock me over. Peter, if you could come along and just give me a good punch to the head,
I'm not giving you a concussion and get.
Triazolam. And it's one tablet. And my advice to you on the radio would be let it dissolve underneath your tongue.
Yeah.
It'll work faster and it'll be more potent because it doesn't have to go through your digestive tract.
Oh.
Take it the night before and the morning of.
Oh my God, that's great. Great. So in other words, put it under my tongue, and so it's going to go
right into the bloodstream rather than get biodegraded by the stomach acids in your
God
stomach.
knows my stomach acids. Holy mother, doctor. Yeah. You are so smart.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were thinking the same.
He was thinking the same thing. Hey, I wonder, I was at the Cape this weekend. We went to a great restaurant. Oh, my God, I want to recommend it. In Dennis, Scargo. Have you been there? Scargo, Scargo?
No, I will put that in my memory bank.
Oh, my gosh, it is so good. I had a swordfish steak. Because I'm on a diet, I had a swordfish steak, some rice, and asparagus. First rate. I got to say, first rate. Scargo. And good sized portions so that, I since I'm on this diet, I'm watching my weight. So I fasted most of that day, and so that I could have
Well, it
this.
sounds like a nice meal. Rice, asparagus, and swordfish. I'd say you stayed on your diet.
Oh yeah, I think I'm not heavier than I was last week, so that's the good news. When I tend to go to the Cape, I'd like to chow down and Super Bowl too. I mean, like Super Bowl. What's your go-to thing on Super Bowl?
For me?
Yeah.
If I had to tell you what I like the best.
Yes. Okay. Here.
What I like the absolute best.
Yeah.
Is my son makes Korean chili.
Ooh.
Whatever the hell that is.
Korean chili.
Korean chili. The place where he works, every month or so, they do like who's the best cook. And they bring in these different dishes. And some of his workmates, office mates, are vegetarian.
Right.
And when I tell you, it's got a nice bite to it. It's really good. I don't know what the heck he puts in it. But very enjoyable. And he's been making that the last few years for us.
Korean. I'm Googling it. I'm going to find this.
I don't have to feel guilty unless you load it up with sour cream, cheese. It's a very healthy meal.
Yeah.
So,
I don't. We were talking about chicken wings last night, and I was saying, gosh, I think they're a waste of time, if you ask me. I know there are restaurants out there, somehow or other, you have to deal with the bone. You have to try to find how to eat the darn bone, eat around the bone. You wash your hands and everything. Yeah, I'm not so crazy about. What about you, Peter, on chicken wings?
It all depends. They've gotten expensive lately because so many people like them.
Oh, really?
Yes, they've gone up in price. I've had them all kinds of ways. I've had them breaded. I've had them unbreaded.
Yeah.
I make my own sauce when I do them.
Yeah.
I've cooked for the Super Bowl before. This year, I ended up going out to dinner with my fiance and her dad.
Yeah.
For lunch, and then I went to my brother's. And it was just really casual. We didn't really have a lot of food because it was just like, we were watching the game. So
yeah.
I think we made nachos.
Oh, I ate about 14 cups of popcorn.
Really?
It's no wonder that I'm not bound today. Oh, I shouldn't. I have no idea.
If you didn't soak it in butter, you're in good shape, right?
Oh yeah. No. You know what I use? Fajita mix on it. I put fajita mix on it, and without butter. And somehow or other, I just love this fajita mix. At any rate, hey, are you still able to stay on, or you need to go off there?
Actually, I'm getting pointed to vigorously that I better get off this radio and go to work. I got people waiting because tomorrow could be a big snow day and they want to get their problems resolved today.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I'm going to be signing off, and I'm going to say, Pete and Bob, thank you so much for the invitation.
Wait, okay, so wait, you got to let's do this. No, we can't do commercials, but I'm going to say that if anybody wanted to find you after the show, you could be found at Ascent Dental, ASCENT Dental. What's the thing? What's the website? And
Ascent Dental Care. Ascent Dental Care. We're located in Long Meadow and East Long Meadow, and I'm going on my 41st year in practice, and I'm proud to have been fortunate enough to serve the community not only clinically and professionally, but through the various donations over the years.
Oh, yes.
And I've been very happy. And I also said numerous times to both you and Pete and Rick, thanks for the opportunity. I enjoy it. It breaks up my day, and hopefully the listeners are getting some information alongside that.
Oh, and we get to look at your beautiful face and talk about all kinds of things every time you are on. And I always learn that amoxicillin or that tranquilizer is going. That horse tranquilizer under the tongue. See you soon, my friend. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks again. Have a good Valentine's Day.
Oh, you too. Hey, everyone, I'm going to play for you. This is Paul Butterfield Blues Band, believe it or not. And the Paul Butterfield Blues Band, I wanted to play a march. I don't know why. But I found they have a song that they played at Woodstock way back when. The Paul Butterfield Blues Band song, Love March. So if you want to march around the breakfast table with your coffee cup, here we go. This is Love March.
I gotta treat my brother wrong and kill him. What a shame. Yes, I know. What is it you know, right? What you know? Everything. There's gotta be a change. Not gonna long, love as much as I can, try and be strong. Let's strangers use my hand, but the time is not too far. So out on jealousy and wrong, in my sad eyes into the sun. Think of all people just as wrong. Watch now, y'all.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardie siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. The YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Wow, it is Tuesday morning. Hey, there are the two of us right here. Peter Cole's Kitten of the Keys. I haven't called you that in ages.
Been a while, yeah.
Oh my God. We used to love calling Peter the Kitten of the Keys because
you could see the keys on the board.
On the board where he was working when we were back at the Westfield State University studio up there. But we come now from Vocational Technical Academy Studio. What did we call this? There's a name for this.
Studio 120.
Studio 120. Studio 120.
Because you're in room 120.
Oh, I got it. And yeah. It's a great room, and Westfield Technical Academy, I got to give a shout out to because boy, it is teaching children and students in ways what I wish I had in school. If I had had the education that the kids here have, I might have come out and not gone into the English department or English. I would not have gotten an English degree. I might have gotten a degree in graphic arts or God knows whatever. I don't know.
Back when you were going to school, a vocational school for people who allegedly weren't smart.
Oh my God, we had that discussion when I was on the Cape with my friends Ethel and Peter this weekend. The idea of how in school, when I was in school, everyone, believe it or not, they 7-1. They had classes, and if you were in the top class, it was known that you were in 7-1. Everyone knew you were in 7-1. My twin brother, was in 7-5. And if God help you if you were in 7-5, because 7-5 and 7-6 said that in the kids' minds, we all knew that those were supposedly the less smart kids or the kids that were troublemakers or whatever. Just incredible. And I remember when I got to, it was 9th grade or something, I was, maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was when I was senior in high school at Cathedral. There was the top English class, and Rose Carmel, remember Sister Rose Carmel, Peter? Does that name ring a bell? No, she wasn't there when you were there. She was the best English teacher. And I had been in the top English class, and somehow or other, in my senior year, they moved me to the second level, the second highest. And I thought to myself, what did I do wrong? Honest to God, can you imagine that? I mean, I don't think that the kids need to be labeled that way. And did you ever have an experience like that going through school, Peter, where because of something you were labeled less than?
I guess because of my size, I was a bigger kid when I was in there. Plus, I wasn't really. I played sports for a little bit, but I wasn't really good at it.
Right. Yeah.
So it was like, okay. Wasn't really big into that either.
Yeah.
I was big into computers when they'd first just come out. Literally first just come out.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And so I think, I mean, I caught grief here and there. I know I was catching it, but I didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
a little bit of a different deal when you just don't. People tend to stop bullying you when you don't acknowledge it.
Oh man. Well, yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't. I got bullied because I wore glasses. I got bullied because I had acne. I thought I was dying of acne. Okay. I had. I was not a jock. I was probably going through all kinds of gay pause or whatever when I was suddenly discovering my own sexuality and had no idea. That was all there. So I would say that as we in school and parents and schools, I hope that they are treating difference in a different way. That they're not saying this is the smart class and that's the dumb class, or how many people get. I love the idea that we have Vocational Technical Academy in Westfield, because the word academy, to me, I want to go to an academy. Boy, that's something really special,
Yeah.
Yeah, and they treat the folks here, the students here, as if they're really special. Now, I don't know what if you go outside to the high school, if there's that, the kids at the academy are different or what, I have no idea whether that's happening in
Actually,
Westfield.
believe it or not, this is pretty well sought after.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's gotten to the point where we're at maximum capacity here. We can't, by state law, you can only have a certain number of kids to a teacher.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we are at capacity, and it is to the point now where there's a waiting list to get in here.
How do you like that? Oh my God, I love that. I so
yeah, there's a waiting
love
list to get in here now.
Wild. Hey, what have you got planned for you and your significant other there, that beautiful Christy? For
Valentine's
what are you
Day?
doing? Yeah, Valentine's Day. You got anything special? Of course, she listens to this. So if there's a that big
I'm
present.
not sure. Well, yeah. Well, the big present is we're going on a cruise. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
that's kind of the big present, kind of like we talked about it. And
yeah.
So that's happening. But she's also working in Hartford, so she's in the Human Resources Department for UConn. And normally she works 2 days a week in stores, but they've been doing a traveling roadshow to other campuses.
Oh, sure.
And some of UConn health stuff and stuff like that. So to meet with the employees if they have any, like kind of do a face. Here's a face to the voice you hear on the phone, type of thing.
Gotcha.
So her roadshow brings her to Hartford on Wednesday.
Yes.
And so we might meet for dinner in Hartford and find some place nice in Hartford to go to dinner on Wednesday.
Yeah. We're playing senior citizens and meeting our friends Paul and Paula Karen at the there's a fish place in.
Tell Paul I said hello. He'll probably remember who I am from way back in the day at Channel 40.
Oh yeah, you know him from there. Oh, so South Windsor, Connecticut. There is a I think it's called Maine Seafood, MAINE Seafood of all places in the middle of
the Maine
Connecticut.
Lobster Company. Isn't that the truck? They have a truck too.
No, well, I don't know whether it's this big, huge seafood restaurant that's really great. That they don't take reservations. You have to show up, and they're always busy. So we're gonna.
No kidding.
Yeah. You got to try it, Peter. You're gonna love it. Oh my God, it's so good. Maine seafood. I'll during the next break I'll find it for you. But and there are a lot of there's a new restaurant in downtown Westfield where Leo's Gallery is. It opened this weekend.
They finally got their occupancy permits?
Yeah, they're open. Ray's Cafe is open.
I know that was the only thing they were waiting for, is whether they were just waiting for their occupancy.
Yeah,
permit.
they got their occupancy because I saw Danny Nason and some others posted their menu, and I saw where people were going in and having hamburgers and such, and their view of the green, just great, just so that it might be something for
Congratulations.
isn't that great? Yeah. Do you traditionally celebrate Ash Wednesday? This is 6 weeks from now. Can you believe it? It's going to be Easter 6 weeks.
I mean, I do things contemplatively. I'm not an avid churchgoer, but I still believe, and I still say prayers and things like that.
Of course. But you don't go and get the ashes. Well, I don't know. I wonder what they're going to do today, whether they're going to have ashes or whatever. But you could probably put some dirt on your forehead and make the sign of the cross or whatever and say,
I suppose I could.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. But at any rate, it is a time when we need. Well, let's look at this. Today is extraterrestrial. How do you say that?
Extraterrestrial Day.
Yeah, no, it's culture. Yeah, extraterrestrial Culture Day. Do you believe in how do you say terrestrial? I can't say that because of my darn lisp. I can't say ours, so extraterrestrial. Oh God. Oh my God, I can't. At any rate, extraterrestrial. Do you believe in extraterrestrial? Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
You do?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Have you had an experience or anything like that?
I mean, I've had experiences with spirits, but not
extraterrestrial.
Not that I'm aware of, but
you've never seen something in the sky that looked like a flying saucer.
No, I have not. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We'd be very arrogant as a species. And as a planet to think that we are the only potentially thing in this vast, vast, vast universe. If we think we're the only sentient life form in this vast, vast universe, it'd be like, why?
Yeah.
There's more circumstantial evidence to say that there is life out there than there is not.
Yes. And life that may not be looking like a human being.
Oh, it definitely won't look like a human being.
Right?
I'm sure there's humanoid life out there. But there's all kinds of life forms that we can't even comprehend yet.
Yeah,
And I mean, think about how long the universe has been around.
So
you're saying that there's nothing that's ever happened?
Yeah.
I think there's stuff that's happened that's helped our culture along.
Yeah.
You don't build pyramids like that without some kind of help.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Especially with the way they're lined up and where they
Perfect.
are, where they are, latitude and longitude wise. The pyramids in Mexico are very similar. There's a pyramid in Europe that's been covered over the years. Looks like a mountain, but it's actually a pyramid. And there's, I saw one thing that they dug down under some of it. They got to a concrete. They got some of the concrete out, and then they had to test it in a lab, and it's more pure and resilient and strong than anything we can make now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, how do these things happen?
Yeah.
Have we forgotten our knowledge? Does the human race go back farther than we think? Like we're saying 18,000 years, I think, is
Right.
what they're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Does it go back even way farther than that?
Well, the universe is how old? Do we know?
Well, I'm just talking about
Billions
life on this
of
planet.
Yeah. Well, if there's the Big Bang or whatever happened millions of years ago,
It's
and
billions of years.
billions of years, and we're only thousands of years old, it would seem to me
We're not even a drop in the bucket.
we're not. No, absolutely. And so there must have been we're not the smartest things in the universe. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if we are. We've only unlocked 30% of the capacity of our brain.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
You Google that.
Yeah.
Google how much capacity, how much brain capacity has the human in current form unlocked.
So, in other words, I might be able to do things that I don't know that I am capable of doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting.
The myth was examined by Mythbusters. The host used magnetic a functioning magnetic resonance scan imaging to scan a brain of somebody attempting to use complicated mental task, and found that as much as 35% of the brain was used during the task.
35% of my brain. My gosh. So I've got to, I'm wondering, is there a way that I could expand? I wonder if I could expand my mind through, well, I don't know, psychedelic drugs? No, I don't want to use that. I don't need to do, you're saying that the brain has the capability of doing stuff without anything else.
No, that we're just not using what we use to run the computer, which is our body.
Right.
Is only taking up 35% of the CPU that is our brain.
And when you say CPU, what is that CPU?
Central Processing Unit, which is your brain.
Oh.
Think about a CPU on a computer, right?
Yeah.
That is where the go between point for everything else. Central Processing Unit. Our brain basically serves the same function. We're using 35% of its capacity.
Yeah. I use this as an idea that there is perhaps some kind of sentient being out there who is able to, that I am part of their computer or whatever.
You think you're part of the Matrix?
The Matrix. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah.
Think about this. Scientific American, from an article in Scientific American.
Right.
Your brain can accumulate the equivalent of 2.5 million gigabytes of memory.
2.5 gigabytes of memory.
Million gigabytes.
Wow. And my memory doesn't, well, I can't remember yet. I can't remember my own name sometimes.
And so people don't know. We haven't even figured out why that happens. Why people get dementia or Alzheimer's or things like that.
Yeah.
We haven't even figured any of that out. Like there are stuff in physics in the universe we don't even understand. We can't even wrap our head up. Think about how far we've come as a species just in our lifetime.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I oftentimes
130 years ago, we couldn't fly in the air.
No. Well, how about 5 years ago? What we couldn't do 5 years ago that we're doing today.
Some things are good for the human condition. Some things are not.
Yeah.
Like this little piece of technology, bad for the human condition. I really think it's made us less interactive as a species.
I'm doing very good, incidentally. I made that New Year's resolution to turn the cell phone off and not be scrolling and doing that little finger thing. I did a Instagram last week about my scrolling finger, my bad finger, and I'm not doing this as much. Which is helpful to me.
I see people that live on their phones. It drives me nuts.
Oh my God.
It's a pet peeve because it's like you're not interacting with, and I'm guilty of doing it once in a while, but I try to make an active, when I'm out with Christy or somebody, I try not to check my phone until the end of the meal, and I only do it just to see if there's an email I need to respond to. But I'm not on social media. I'm not on this. I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care.
When you go out, here's a
People
challenge.
are like, "Oh, we emailed you like a while ago."
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Like if it was that important, you should have called me.
Yeah, or not called me. What are you calling
Well, I don't
me
mind
about?
if it's important. You need me an answer like that. Call me.
All right. But you know what I think is there is this need for us to be connected, but there's a different way to be connected than with your cell phone.
Yeah.
And to be active and present in people's lives requires you to do something active. And scrolling is not it's an action, but more than that, I mean, you and I, from different sides of the coin, are absolutely right together on this. Absolutely right together, my friend. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like you have to be because after a while, it just gets kind of stupid.
No. How often do you talk to your girlfriend?
If we can, it's a couple of times a day.
Yeah. Is there a special time that you do it, or does she surprise you, or you surprise her?
When you can. It's kind of really when we can. So it's just like when I'll message her and say, "Can you chat for a minute?" And we try to catch up during the day.
Yeah.
And if I don't, if it doesn't even show that she not looked at the message,
yeah,
I'll know she's busy at work. I won't worry about it.
Do you worry if you do not hear from her on a day? Has there been a day that you said, "Oh my God, I've gone through the whole day, we haven't talked, and here it is 10:30 at night, and we still haven't talked"? Or you're no? I guess when you're in love, that's a different story.
Well, I mean,
there
are days when I know she's going to be busy. I don't worry about it.
All right. Oh, okay. Got it. I answer this question because I'm about to play a song.
By the way, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you do on a snow day?
Oh, on a snow day,
because you're retired.
Yeah.
What do you do do you get up and watch the snow fall? Do you go back to bed?
Oh.
Do you sit there and sit by the heater and go, "Thank God everything's still working"?
Well, I love to go into the living room, sit by the window.
Yes.
Watch the snow is falling, and I look over occasionally. But to get my novel, I'm reading Lonesome Dove, as you know, right now. So it's a long novel, and I'm almost finished. So I read a little bit of that. I do a crossword puzzle. This is what I do when I turn the cell phone off. I force myself into 4 hours of I was going to say oblivion, but it's not oblivion. It's active.
Other tasks.
Nourishing some part of my body, And oftentimes at night, after 6 o'clock, 6:30, James and I are involved, and sometimes when the phone rings, I'll go, "Oh no, we're having our time together," but but on a snow day, I think that both James and I like the idea. Soup always comes into my mind on a snow day.
Okay.
For some reason.
All right, that's fair.
Making soup or whatever, and also wine. Although now I don't drink, so I don't know what I'm replacing that wine with. Maybe it's.
Might want to look into like White Claw, like a alcoholic seltzer or something.
Yeah, or. Well, mulled cider or something. No, mulled I
love cider.
Cider, yeah. Oh, well, I have it every day.
Dry cider is a wonderful
hot
thing.
cider at night. I have it an hour before I go to bed. I don't know why. It's my go-to now to remind me that it's bedtime.
Gotcha.
But hey, I'm going to play a bluegrass song. Finish this question for me, Peter. Finish this statement. If it hadn't been for love, I
wouldn't be happy.
If it hadn't been for love, If it hadn't been for love, I would not be in Westfield at the moment.
Okay. That's
yeah,
fair.
I would have not moved here because James wanted to be in Westfield. So my life, my community life here and the enrichment I've had, if it hadn't been for love, I would not have been here. Yeah. Now, here's a song called If It Hadn't Been for Love by the Steel Drivers. It's a little bit more negative than that, but let's go. Let's hear it.
Never would have hitchhiked to Birmingham if it hadn't been for love. Never would have called the train to Louisiana if it hadn't been for love. Never would have run through the blinding rain without $1 to my name if it hadn't been for love. Never would have seen the trouble that I'm in if it hadn't been for love. Would have been gone like a wayward wind if it hadn't been for love. Nobody knows it better than me. I wouldn't be wishing I was free if it hadn't been for love. 4 cold walls against my will. At least I know she's alive and still. 4 cold walls without parole. Lord have mercy on my soul. Never would have gone to that side of town if it hadn't been for love. Never would have took a mind to track her down if it hadn't been for love. Never would have loaded up a 44, put myself behind a jailhouse door if it hadn't been for love. 4 cold walls against my will. At least I know she's alive and still. 4 cold walls without parole. Lord have mercy on my soul. Never would have hitchhiked to Birmingham if it hadn't been for love. Never would have called the train to Louisiana if it hadn't been for love. Never would have loaded up a 44, put myself behind a jailhouse door if it hadn't been for love. If it hadn't been for love. If it hadn't been for love.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for ArtsBeat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Wow, it is Tuesday, February 13th, Mardi Gras.
It's a snow day.
It's a snow day. Yeah, we're taping the day before. I don't want people to get scared that I'm in some kind of multi-universe or whatever here. I'm Bob Plass, and guess who's off today? Of course, for the last 2 hours, we've been talking with our great friend, Rick Berry, and we hope...
He's still working at the flower shop because it is Valentine's Day week, and he's making a lot of deliveries.
Oh, God. Delivery.
Yes.
Yeah. And we also want to say that Westfield on Weekends is having an event on Thursday night this week. It's a reception. I think it's from 5:30 to 8, if I'm not mistaken. And it is the opening of our Interconnected show. Now, Interconnected is the name of the show. It's the artwork of Jen Delgado. Jen Delgado's art is so colorful. It is so accessible to people. It is filled with joy and this appreciation of nature and the interconnectedness that we all have throughout our life. And so she began, interesting, Peter, she began doing these really geometric shapes and things, and initially in this series particularly, she's an illustrator as well as she works in oils and she works in, I think, pen and ink and whatever, but she had some figures, and the figures kind of started to meld into the background, and so you have to look for the figure in some of their the colorful geometric design. Oh, they're really great. And quite honestly, they're really affordable. Cool. Yeah. And there are 50 of them. Count them. I think there are more than 50 on display at 105 Elm Street, Westfield, and you can go to westfieldonweekends.com and read all about it. And we're really interested in that. We also had our first bingo game last night on Monday night, and it is going to happen again next month and the next month. So hopefully you bingo players, cash prizes, and we're hoping that it takes off, and we do it throughout the year to help us to raise some dough. You like bingo? You like playing bingo?
No.
Why? Why?
I'm not into any kind of gambling. I have this thing where I lose, but if somebody goes with me, they win.
Oh, okay.
So I give my donation.
I see. So I should invite you to the bingo game and play.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's the woman I'm with that usually wins.
Yeah.
Several occurrences in my life where I've lost my shirt and they've won twice what I've lost.
Wow. Well, if it hadn't been for love, you wouldn't have lost your shirt. Is that right?
Pretty much. Just saying.
Hey, I did an Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Plasse Bob, Plasse Bob, B-O-B. But I did an Instagram this week about bingo, and you'd be really surprised at this, Peter. When was bingo invented?
It probably dates back to like Egypt or something.
Believe it or not, you're not far off. It's actually the 1500s. 1530 was apparently the beginnings of bingo. Now, where did it develop? What country do you think? It's also the country that has the most bingo games. Are you can find bingo throughout the country every day of the week, and I guess at all hours for all I know. I don't know, but I
have no idea.
Pick a country. Think about
Italy. Greece?
Right on the money. Italy was the beginnings of bingo. Yeah.
Well, I know Romans had gambling, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And this game that was there moved to France, and then in the 1800s in France, there was a game called Le Lotto that the aristocracy played, and they loved it. They loved it. Now, in America, believe it or not, the 1930s, 1926, this guy sees this carnival in Georgia. His name was Edwin Lowe. He sees this carnival where they're playing a game called Beano, Beano. Why was it called Beano, do you think? It's in Georgia.
I don't know.
Well, they used lima beans or beans
To cover the spots?
To cover the spots on the bingo card. And so they would call Beano, and then somebody misheard it and called it bingo. And that's where we get the name bingo. But it was from Beano. Beano came first and bingo. And it's funny, when I grew up, my aunts, my 70 and 80-year-old aunts would go to bingo on Saturday nights in Thompsonville, Connecticut. And,
Okay.
Yeah, believe it or not. And it was at the VFW, an Italian man, Joe, whatever his name was, ran the bingo down there. And they, oh my God, you could win hundreds of dollars every week at this bingo game. And so when I was a kid, my aunts used to take me all of the time, and they would play 24 cards at a time. I mean, it was like a business for them every Saturday. And then afterward, this was a real treat. On the way home, we would stop at Friendly's, and James and I were talking about this yesterday because I was talking about hot fudge sundaes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the hot fudge sundae at all?
Yes. At Friendly's?
Yes.
Yes.
It was different than any hot fudge sundae. And I wondered, what was that fudge? What made it different? It wasn't like chocolate syrup. It was actually thick, and it was hot. And when it hit the ice cream, the vanilla ice cream, it would crackle. I don't know if they serve that anywhere now. Do you know that the hot fudge was actually hot?
Oh, they still do.
Do you think that that hot fudge is still hot in some places? Certainly at Friendly's, is it?
Yeah, they keep it warm.
Warm.
Yeah.
But this was boiling hot, so that when it came, oh my God, it was so great. And we would have hot fudge with salted pecans. That was the reason why I went to bingo. Basically, because I don't know. I think for a kid, I was not so thrilled about sitting there watching a car, although I would win occasionally, you know.
Yep.
But at any rate, so watch for the Wild Bingo Game coming up next month. Thursday night this week is the gallery opening. The gallery will be open during the days. You can go online to see with the hours that it is open. I know that it's open from 12 to 3, I think Monday through Thursday, and then Friday night and Saturday afternoon from 12 to 5. But you can see the work of Jen Delgado. It's really wonderful, wonderful. But
that's very cool.
Yeah, very good. Should we play another song? How are we doing on time? I always get let's play. Let's
play a song. We'll come back, wrap it up, and then we'll head out.
Wonderful. Nina Simone, the quintessential jazz singer. You know Nina Simone? Oh, my God.
I know the name, yeah.
Oh, my God. She's great. She's the one that, that song, Birds Flying High, Birds Flying High, you know what I mean? Yeah. That, she really made that popular. It was from a Broadway show, but she took a jazz number and she changed it. I'm not going to play that song. I'm going to play.
You do this to us all the time, Bob.
Yeah. I'm going to play Love Me or Leave Me, the old love song. Love Me or Leave Me. I think it's most appropriate today. Love people.
Say love me, leave me, let me be lonely. You won't believe me, but I love you only. I'd rather be lonely than happy with somebody else. You might find the nighttime the right time for kissing. Nighttime is my time for just reminiscing, regretting instead of forgetting with somebody else. There'll be no one unless that someone is you. I intend to be independently blue. Say, I want your love, don't want to borrow. Have it today to give back tomorrow. Your love is my love, there's no love for nobody else. I'd rather be lonely than happy with somebody else. You might find the nighttime the right time for kissing. Nighttime is my time for just reminiscing, regretting instead of forgetting with somebody else. There'll be no one unless that someone is you. I intend to be independently blue. Say, hey, I want your love, don't want to borrow. Have it today to give back tomorrow. Your love is my love, my love is your love. There's no love for nobody else.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Wow, snow day in Westfield, everyone. We're taping on Monday for Tuesday, and we know you're having a snow day today, and we hope you're going to be safe and enjoying it. It's also National Punchki Day, so a shout out to Ken Stomsky. Is Ken going to be able to have his punchkis today, Peter?
I would think so.
Yeah. Have you had a punchki this season?
I did. The superintendent had it on his show last week.
Oh, my God. So he brought
I had
in
my one punchki for the year.
Oh, my God.
I'm trying to be good.
They're like lead. These
were good. I think
you could use them as door
I think they
stoppers.
were the big Y ones. They were pretty good.
Yeah. Spell punchki for me, please.
It doesn't look anything like it sounds.
Yeah. How do you spell it?
I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, it begins with a P, right?
Mm-hmm.
P-A. You got it? No?
P-A-C-Z-I or something like that. Potsky.
Potsky. Well, it's actually P-A-C-Z-K-I. You're right.
I'm close.
See, you're a genius.
No, I'm not.
No. I don't know how that Patsky becomes Punchki.
I'm trying to translate from Polish to English.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you. Yeah. Oh, my God. My phone's ringing. Is it time for us to go?
I would think so. We were pretty close, yes.
Go to westfieldonweekends.com, everyone. And look, I wish you all the best. And happy St. Patrick. No, happy
Mardi Gras.
What is it? Happy Mardi Gras. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll see you back here next week. Hopefully Rick Barry will have delivered all his flowers, and Pete Coles will be here, and we'll have Jessica Martin here next week. So we look forward to it. Be safe out there in the snow, and have a good day. Yeah. Here is Dr. John from our Wisconsin music director. This is in celebration of New Orleans. Dr. John.
Somebody'll tell you what's carnival for.
Get your ticket in your hand. You wanna go to New Orleans. Get your ticket in your hand. You wanna go to New Orleans. You know when you get to New Orleans, somebody'll show you the Zulu King. You will see the Zulu King down on St. Claude and Dumas. You know you see the Zulu King down on St. Claude and Dumas. And if you stay right there, I'm sure you'll see the Zulu